sweeties, we're back again with another cake tutorial, and I'm going to be showing you how to make a blue confetti buttercream cake. First, you're going to grab your vanilla buttercream, which I've already pre-made, and I'm going to just give it a mix so it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to put in our blue food coloring. Today I'm using ColourMill. They are an amazing brand of food coloring made right here in Australia, but they do ship worldwide. They're really good quality, and because they are an oil coloring, they seep really well into the buttercream and melt together. So I'm using royal blue and sky blue just to get a dusty blue color today. And just give them a good shake because they are oil based. So we're gonna add a kind of a small squirt of the sky blue and a few drops of the royal blue and mix that through. As you can see, it colors beautifully and it gives you a nice strong opaque color. Because they are oil based, they are perfect for use in chocolate as well, which is great because then you can use it amongst all different mediums. And it makes it nice and easy to color match. Perfect, so I add a bit of a smaller amount at the start just to check my color. Now I'm gonna go back in with a bit more sky blue and one more drop of royal blue. Because my buttercream was a yellow base to start with, because it has a natural yellow tinge because we use real Australian butter, it will look a bit green when it's light, so you wanna just add a bit more blue until it gets nice and pigmented. Adding the royal blue just takes off that really bright and baby blue and it makes it nice and dusty, so that's a really great tip. If you're wanting to change the tone of your blue but not make it too dark, I definitely recommend adding one drop of royal blue. All right, so just wipe off your hands in case you do have any food coloring. I've already got it on my bench and my tools, so quickly, oh no, not on the bench. I'll be back, let me go clean up the food coloring off my bench. Okay, so obviously don't make as much mess as me. I am the messiest baker. Next time I'll put some cling film down or some baking paper if I'm using dark blue on this white bench. That's okay, we're here now, we're good to go. So let's put that all aside. I've got my blue buttercream and it's the perfect color, so that's all that matters. And we're gonna add some to the top of the cake. I've already filled this cake with vanilla buttercream on the inside. It is a chocolate mud cake, but of course you can use any cake of your choice. But chocolate mud is definitely a crowd favorite. It's nice and moist and it's also delicious. Take your spatula and add some buttercream to the sides of the cake. Once you have lots of buttercream on, take your scraper and we're gonna put it against the cake and lightly smooth this out. Continue going around until it's nice and smooth. And make sure to wipe off your excess every now and then so it doesn't build up. If you have any bits here where the cake is showing through, just add on a little bit more buttercream before we continue smoothing. Perfect. Then you can continue smoothing and it'll be all smooth again. Now that our cake is nice and smooth, we want to take off that top edge. Just very lightly bring in that buttercream and continue moving around the cake. Now that we've got the top all cleaned off, we're just gonna, as usual, scrape the buttercream off the edge of the board and give it a quick wipe because you want to clean this out now before it gets too messy. Okay, now that we have our cake, we're gonna add our drip. But first, you need to either make your drip, or if you have it made already, we're just gonna microwave it just to get it back down to that runny consistency. So mine's already colored with the same colors. I've just made it a little bit darker than the cake. But as you can see, that's definitely not gonna be able to drip down the sides of the cake. So we need to microwave this just 10 seconds at a time until we get a beautiful runny consistency. Okay, so I've just microwaved the ganache and it's a nice runny consistency, but not too thin. I'm gonna pour it on the top of the cake, just until it's about halfway. And then I'm gonna use the back of my spoon just to swirl it around just to get it closer to the edges. You just wanna go a bit slowly at this point just so it doesn't run off the cake. Perfect. And then when you get it close to the edge, you can now use the back of your spoon to start pointing it to form the drips down the side of the cake. So as you can see, my ganache was starting to set towards the end. So you do want to work nice and quickly when you go on the sides of the cake with the drip. But majority of it looks amazing, so that's the main thing. Now we're going to get ready to add our sprinkles on. The most important part, of course. So you can transform this cake to be suitable for any occasion, but we always do this cake in my store, in my bakery, with rainbow sprinkles because it's kind of fun, just gives it a bit of a happier mood. So I've got these beautiful sprinkles here from Robert's Confectionary. They're one of my favorite rainbow mixes because it's got a few different shapes and sizes in there, and they're nice and bright and colorful too. So I just scoop up some and I lightly turn the turntable as I shake my hand so they can scatter onto the bottom of the cake. And then I work my hand up and lightly shake some on so it's not a solid line. and it just gradients up the cake beautifully. Perfect. Now the ganache is kind of semi-set. You can see it's starting to set. I like to add some on the top. If you add it on when it's too wet, they kind of just pull and turn. They just sink into the ganache and doesn't look that nice. So I'm adding them now when it's semi-set so they still stick. Okay, now our base is done. I'm just gonna open my piping bag and we're gonna add some of that same blue buttercream we used on the base into the bag and do some piping on top. So squeeze it down so it's nice and tight. So here I'm using a Loyal 1M tip. They're what I always use in my bakery. They're one of our staple tips and they're perfect for any different piping, but we're gonna use that one today. And we're just gonna go ahead and lightly squeeze to make a swirl on the edge of the cake. We're gonna continue this around, touching, until we go all the way around the cake. Piping is just something like handwriting that you get really good at over time, so don't stress if you're still perfecting it. As long as you try keep them the same height, it will all look amazing. Now just to finish the cake, I'm just gonna take a few more of those rainbow sprinkles and add it on the swirls just to give it another pop of color. Perfect. All right, sweeties, our cake is all complete. It's easily customizable with your own cake topper or a character even standing on the front or little even toys. I hope you learned something today and I'd love to see your creations, so make sure to leave a comment down below. Send me lots of pictures as well on my own Instagram, Caitlin Matheson. I'd love to see them. Please make sure you like and subscribe and I'll see you next time.